Welcome back to the Killer Nacho's Wi-Fi battles. Now 100% Pikachu free since I exterminated the last one as part of my Pikachu genocide project. Hooray! Anyway, getting on to this battle. This is a battle with SilverFoxMaster, who is another Twitch viewer, so let's go ahead and get started. Heading Switch. His name is RJ in-game, which is a good name, and he also has a Garchomp lead, while I decided to lead with Magmortar. Magmortar is a request that I was taking from somebody in the chat, but obviously it does not match up very well against Garchomp, so I'm just going to switch out into my Skarmory to take the Earthquake that I predicted, which is a pretty obvious play. Anyway, his Garchomp sets up some Stealth Rocks, which means it's some kind of a weird setup Garchomp, as I set up Stealth Rocks myself. Now here I expect to switch because it's not like a Garchomp can do a whole lot to Skarmory, even with Stone Edge, which is neutral. It still doesn't do much, and I just go for the Whirlwind, hoping actually to get, like, damage on two of his guys, because he predicting he would switch too, but he doesn't, so, whatever. I end up getting some damage here on this incoming Goodra, and I don't really know what this thing does. There's a few sets it can have, and one of them is the Choice Spec set, which, this one is, which is probably not good for me, and, I decided to risk it just to find out what it would do. And, yeah, it does have Fire Blast, so I'm kind of thinking this is the, Choice set. And that is not really good for me because I do lose Skarmory, although I do go into my Garchomp here, believing him to be locked into Fire Blast, so I can pretty much force the switch, as he goes out into Gardevoir, which I assume is his I assume is his Mega, but I'm just going for the Earthquake here to get damage, and it ends up killing it, so I ended up killing his Mega Pokemon before it was able to Mega Evolve. Anyway, here comes in a Noivern, one of those new dragons, well, a new dragon of Gen 6. He has the other new dragon too, Goodra. I don't think there's any more, maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I go out into my Scizor, kind of predicting a dragon move, and there it is. He goes for the Dragon Pulse, and it's not going to hurt me that much thanks to my resistance. So I go for the Bullet Punch, knowing this thing doesn't have a whole lot of defense, and I'm able to take it out, so that's pretty damn awesome for me. Have 2 kills here, although he did kill my Skarmory. Anyway, so he goes back into Goodra, which I already know has Fire Blast, and I'm kind of thinking he's going to go for it. He doesn't want to over-predict, so I decide to switch out into my Magmortar to take it. And instead, I believe he goes for a Dragon Pulse? Yes, he goes for a Dragon Pulse, predicting my switch into Garchomp. Unfortunately for me, that is going to hurt Magmortar a lot. I go for the Focus Blast just to get damage, because I know my Magmortar isn't going to be able to switch back in due to the Stealth Rocks. And it ends up doing pretty little amount of damage. Obviously, I had to just stay in and do damage there. Goodra obviously has some very good special defense, but there's really nothing else I could do. I had to do some damage because I don't have a way to get rid of these Stealth Rocks on his team. I don't have a Defogger or a Spinner. Either way, he goes back out into his Garchomp, and yeah, I'm just going to U-turn because I wanted to see what he would go into. It ends up doing pretty good damage, but I am going to pay for it because he has Rough Skin as well as the Rocky Helmet, which some serious recoil damage, and is going to leave my Scizor in a very compromised position. So I go into Venusaur, which is something I was wanting to try out as Mega Venusaur, and seems like a pretty good Pokemon to try to set up against, so I Mega Evolve, which gives me Thick Fat, which is pretty cool. And he's just actually going to go for the Outrage, I guess wanting to do damage, but I do have Synthesis, and he's not going to do half. I go for the Sleep Powder, actually thinking he would switch because I wanted to sleep the Goodra, or just anything really. Anything asleep is helpful to me at this point. And he stays in, which is kind of shocking. I thought he would switch, so I go for the Sludge Bomb, which obviously is not very effective against Garchomp. I thought he would actually switch to keep Garchomp as sleep fodder. And here he wakes up and goes for the Earthquake as I go for the Synthesis, pretty much because I just want HP. I mean, that's always a good thing. So, yeah, he's going to stay in and continue going for the Earthquake as I actually go for Sleep Powder again. I'm still kind of, in the back of my mind, thinking he's going to switch. My Sleep Powder missed, which is never good, and forces me to go for a Synthesis again, because I can pretty much wall this Garchomp as long as he doesn't get a crit. And even then, since crits only do 50% more, as long as I stay healthy, I don't think this Garchomp is going to be really a threat to my Venusaur. And at this point, I'm just thinking, okay, it seems like he just wants to stay in, so I'm just going to try to kill him with Giga Drain. So, yeah, that is able to take out the Garchomp, and that's pretty good. And the nicer thing about it is I can go actually put something else to sleep now, because I don't have to waste, you know, if he would have switched out Garchomp or Sleep Claws would have prevented me from sleeping anything else. But, yeah, that's pretty cool. So he goes into Infernape, and I know I do have Thick Fat, but just to be safe, I don't know if like he has Flare Blitz, or I don't know how much damage he's going to do. Infernape obviously is a really, really strong sweeper, but he ends up just going for Fire Punch, which I probably could have lived pretty easily. Take it really nicely, but it doesn't really matter. I go into Garchomp, who takes it fairly nicely, as he goes out into his Goodra, which I just go for the Earthquake, and Goodra does not have very good physical defense, and it's going to take it out, and that's really bad for him, because Goodra was definitely a threat to my team, and now it's gone. So he goes back into Infernape now. I'm kind of thinking maybe this is a Scarf set or something. Actually, I didn't notice if he had Life Orb. I might have noticed at the time, I don't know. We're about to find out if he is a Life Orb set. Either way, he goes for Close Combat. I think this thing is actually a Scarf set, actually, but I'm not 100% sure. Let's find out. Let's see. Is the Life Orb going to happen? This battle happened like last week, so don't really remember. It doesn't look like he has Life Orb. Okay, so like I said, I think this thing's probably Scarfed. Either way, he continues going for Close Combat, so yeah, it is Scarfed. And that's not really going to do much at all. He's basically letting me kill him. And, yeah, I just go for the Sleep Powder, actually, because I thought he would switch, and I wanted to get that other thing asleep. But, now that the Infernape is asleep, he's probably going to switch, and he does, obviously, to keep me from sleeping his Raikou, which is basically his last hope. And, this turn, I go for, I think, a Synthesis to get back up to full, because I knew he would go out into Raikou, and I just want to be at full health for that. These things can carry extra Sensory, so, obviously that could do decent damage to me. He ends up going for the Hidden Power Ice, which is super effective, but is being reduced by my Thick Fat, so it's probably not the best thing to hit me with. Either way, I go for a Sludge Bomb, and it is going to do some pretty nice damage. And now I switch to Extra Sensory, figuring out that I have Thick Fat, or maybe he just forgot or something. I'm not really sure. Either way, my second Giga Drain is going to murder him, and all he has left is his Asleep Infernape, so there's pretty much nothing he can do at this point. I actually end up switching here, I think, because I wanted to get my last Pokemon in. I mean, I have a Conkeldurr in this team. I just wanted to get in my last Pokemon just to send it out, you know, and finish off with this guy. I mean, I know he has a turn of sleep guaranteed left, and I do have Mach Punch, or even if he wakes up, it's pretty much a good game at this point. So I just go ahead and kill him with the Drain Punch, and yeah, that is the end. So, very good game there, SilverFoxMaster. Thanks for the match. And I guess let's go ahead and introduce today's question of the day. Today's question is, what is your favorite champion in the Pokemon games? There are now, how many? There's 9, I believe, different champions in Pokemon games. I have to say that my favorite is the classic Lance. I know that he actually wasn't the classic. Technically, the champion is your rival, aka Blue, in Gen 1. But Lance was the champion of Gen 2, as well as the final member of the Elite Four, and I just think he's a pretty cool all-around. But there are some other cool ones, like, as I said, Blue. I really like the champion in Gen 3, which is Steven, and I kind of like Cynthia. But, yeah, leave a comment about your favorite champion in any Pokemon game, and I'll see you guys again next time. Later.